everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. I've got Dr. Brenda Vlasky here. We're not going to waste any time. We're talking about something today that could have literally changed everything. Brenda, thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having me. It smells like a distillery in here. I love it. You're not trying to get me drunk, are you?
It's part of the vibe. It loosens up the conversation. So look, we talk about a lot of crazy stuff on this show. We go down some wild rabbit holes, a lot of what-if theories, but today we're going to get into one that, man, it's one of those things that just fundamentally keeps you up at night. It's a hinge point of history. We all know how World War II ended, right? America drops the bomb, war's over, good guys win, roll credits. But what if it didn't go down like that? What if that entire script was flipped? What if Hitler got the bomb first?
Oh, dude, yeah. That's the big one. That's the nightmare scenario. That's the holy crap, we're all so boned, turn off the simulation and start over scenario. It's not even funny.
Right? And the scary part is, it's not that far-fetched. It's not like they weren't trying. They were in the game. They had the scientists, guys like Werner Heisenberg, a Nobel Prize winner. They had a head start. They discovered fission. So what happened? Why did they, as you so elegantly put it before we started, totally biff it?
They biffed it because they were, and this is a technical term, a total clusterfuck clown show. Seriously, it's the ultimate example of why having a bunch of smart people doesn't mean you get a smart result. You look at our program, the Manhattan Project, it was like one guy, General Groves, this big, mean, snack-loving military dude, was put in charge of everything. He was the boss. He was a ruthless CEO. He pointed and people did stuff. It was focused. It was a laser beam of pure, concentrated, get it done.
A $2 billion laser beam. That's an insane amount of money for the 1940s.
Exactly. A crazy expensive laser beam that sucked up like 1% of all the electricity in the whole country. The entire project was, at its peak, employing over 100,000 people. It was a secret city. Meanwhile, the German Uranium Club, that's seriously what they called it, the Uraneverein. It sounds like a frigging after-school activity. What are you doing today, Hans? Oh, just going to the Uranium Club.
The Uranium Club, Jesus.
Right? And it was run just like that. It was just a bunch of different egghead scientists in different buildings, different universities, who all kind of hated each other. You had one group under the army, another under the post office. I am not kidding. The German post office was trying to build a bomb. And another group of academics. They were all competing for the same little pot of money, for supplies, for, I don't know, bragging rights. There was no boss. Nobody was cracking the whip. It was like trying to build an IKEA dresser with 5 different people who all have their own instruction manuals, think the other guys are morons, and are actively trying to steal each other's screws. It was never going to work.
So it was a management failure. But what about the scientists themselves? I've heard this theory. Heisenberg and some of the others later claimed they sandbagged. They knew what they were building and they deliberately slow-walked it because they didn't want to give Hitler the ultimate weapon.
Oh my God, please. Yeah, that was the story they cooked up after the war when they were guests of the British at Farm Hall and realized, oh crap, we lost, and also we look like total scientific morons who failed. Look, when they heard the news about Hiroshima, their secret taped conversations show they were shocked. They couldn't believe it. Heisenberg was like, no way, it's a bluff. They can't have done it. Their first reaction wasn't, oh, the horror. It was, how the hell did they do that and we didn't? It was pure professional jealousy.
So the moral resistance thing is just...
It's bullshit. It's a nice story to tell yourself so you can sleep at night after you comprehensively failed at the most important project in history. Maybe deep down, 1 or 2 of them had a little squeak of a conscience, but the program didn't fail because of morality. It failed because it was a bureaucratic dumpster fire run by egotists.
And Hitler, he was all about those wonder weapons, right? The Wunderwaffen, the V-2 rockets, the jet fighters. Why didn't he see this? Why didn't he throw all his money at the one thing that could have actually won?
Because fundamentally, he was an idiot. He was a short-sighted moron. And also, his scientists kind of undersold it. In 1942, Heisenberg, their main guy, basically goes to Albert Speer, who's like the head honcho of all war stuff, and he's like, yeah, we could build a bomb, but it'll take like 3 years and a mountain of cash. And it's, complicated. And Speer and Hitler are like, 3 years? Screw that. The war will be over by then. We're winning now. Put the money into the rockets. Rockets are cool. They go floosh. They blow up a city block. That's what we need.
And that V2 rocket program cost a fortune, didn't it? Like comparable to the Manhattan Project.
It cost exactly the same. That's the craziest part. They had the money. They had the $2 billion bucks. They spent it on the wrong friggin' toy. Think about it. The V2 was a terror weapon. It killed like 3,000 people in England, but it took more people to build it, mostly slave laborers who died, than it actually killed. It was a strategic disaster. They built a really expensive, really fast delivery truck that could only carry like a TV. They could have been building the goddamn sun in a box, but they chose the truck instead. Total strategic faceplant.
Okay, so that's history. That's what happened. A comedy of errors, thank God. But let's spin the wheel. Let's get on the time machine. We go back to that meeting in 1942. But in this world, something's different. What's the change?
The change is fear. Let's say a German spy in the US gets one tiny, credible piece of intel. Not a full plan, just a name, Manhattan Project, and a budget number. Or a note about a secret city in Tennessee. Just enough to make them crap their pants.
So Heisenberg goes into that meeting, not just as a scientist, but as a guy with a warning.
Exactly. He doesn't say, it's hard and will take 3 years. He says, boss, the Americans are doing it. They're spending billions. They're trying to build it right now, and if they get it first, we are all vapor. We're done. And Hitler, who's starting to get bogged down in Russia, whose armies are freezing to death outside Stalingrad, and who is probably high on like 9 different kinds of meth, he hears that, and his obsession with wonder weapons finally lands on the right one. He doesn't say, 3 years is too long. He says, do it. I don't care what it costs. I don't care who it kills. Do it all, and do it now.
And who does he put in charge? Not the post office.
No. Now it gets dark. Now it's not a clown show anymore. Hitler points. He gives the whole damn thing, the Atom Project, to some psycho, not a scientist. He gives it to an SS general, a guy like Hans Kammler, who ran the V2 program. This is a dude who built his rockets in underground caves, using like 60,000 concentration camp prisoners, and most of them died. He's not a nice man. He's an engineer of death. He doesn't care about physics. He cares about results.
Jesus.
Yeah, no more uranium club. This guy, Kammler, just shoves all the scientists into one bunker. He probably shoots a few for arguing just to make a point. He says, build the bomb or I'll kill your families and your dog. And he gets all that V2 money, all of it. And he gets all the slave labor he wants from the SS. Now it's a race. And they're not building a dinky little reactor to see if it works. They are building a bomb. They're going brute force. They're not just trying one way to get the uranium. They're trying all the ways at once, just like we did. They're building giant factories deep underground in the Harz Mountains where our bombers can't get them. And they're doing it with just horrific, unimaginable human suffering. People are just cogs. They're disposable parts in the machine.
So in this timeline, they get there. The brute force, the terror, the resources, it works. It's, say, early 1945. The Allies are pushing in from the west. The Russians are coming from the east. The Reich is crumbling. And then, boom, they test one in the Baltic, and it works.
It works. And it's probably a big, dumb, simple bomb, not the fancy fat man plutonium one we dropped on Nagasaki. That thing was like a complicated Swiss watch. You had to get all these explosives to go off at the exact same microsecond to crush a little ball of plutonium. Super hard. This would be Little Boy, the Hiroshima bomb. It's basically a cannon that fires one piece of uranium into another piece of uranium. It's stupid, it's inefficient, but it works. It's a guaranteed slam dunk. The problem is, it's heavy.
It weighs like 10,000 pounds.
So you can't put that on a V2 rocket?
Dude, no. A V2 could barely carry like a microwave. This thing was fat, like needs its own airplane fat, which is a problem for them. A huge problem.
How? They had bombers.
They had crap bombers. We, the Allies, owned the sky. By 1945, we had total air supremacy. We had thousands of P-51 Mustangs and Spitfires that were just bored. They were flying around looking for stuff to shoot. If they sent up some normal Henkel bomber, we'd shoot it down in like 5 minutes. They'd lose their one magic bomb. Nope. They'd have to use one of their special long-range prototypes, these America bombers they were working on, like the Junkers U-390. A giant 6-engine monster that could fly super high and super far. They probably only have 1 or 2 of them. Prototypes. Finicky. So this is it. It's a one-shot deal. A Hail Mary.
Okay, so they've got the 10,000-pound bomb. They've got the one giant janky plane. It's 1945. They're losing. The clock is at 0. Where do they drop it, Brenna? What's the target?
All right, this is where you gotta think like a rat trapped in a cage. You don't just bite the guy's finger, you go for his goddamn eyeball. You've got 1, maybe 2 of these things. You can't win the war. You can't blow up all our armies, but you can make us stop.
So London, right? You hit London, terror, decapitate the government, shock the world.
That's the second bomb. That's the political holy crap bomb. The first bomb is pure military. It's logistical. You hit the one place that our entire army needs to survive. You hit the port of Antwerp.
Antwerp? The port? Why not a city?
Because Antwerp was our everything. After we captured it in late 44, it was the one giant working port we had on the continent. Everything for the American and British and Canadian armies went through Antwerp. All the bullets, all the gas, all the spam, all the tanks, all the new soldiers. It was the goddamn grocery store for the entire Allied invasion. It was the nozzle on the hose. The Germans knew this. In real life, they spent months just pounding Antwerp with V2 rockets. They hit it with thousands of rockets, just trying to shut it down.
And it didn't work.
It didn't work. It was like trying to kill an elephant with a BB gun. But one 20-kiloton nuke, one urine bomb, it doesn't just smash the docks. It vaporizes the whole port. It sinks every ship. It blows up every crate of ammo. And worse, it makes the entire area a radioactive hellscape for months. You can't unload a single ship. You can't even get near it. And just like that, the entire Allied army grinds to a halt. It's a car that just ran out of gas 100 miles from a gas station. Patton's tanks, no fuel. The infantry, no bullets, no food. The whole offensive just stops. Dead.
Jesus, that's a checkmate. I never even thought of that.
It's a goddamn checkmate. It's a strategic knockout. Eisenhower is sitting at his HQ and the reports just stop. The whole port is just gone. Then, once you've done that, once you've just like literally cut our army's throat, that's when you use your second bomb, if you have one. Or maybe you just bluff. You don't even need a second one. You get on the radio to Churchill and Truman and you say, I just destroyed your entire army's supply line. That was one bomb. London is next, or maybe New York on a one-way trip. We have more. Surrender. Right now. Stop attacking us or your cities disappear one by one.
And what do? Our policy was unconditional surrender. We weren't going to stop until they were completely beaten.
Unconditional surrender goes right in the goddamn toilet. That's what happens. That policy is a luxury. It's something you say when you know you're gonna win. Think about it. You're Churchill. You're in the cabinet war rooms. An aide runs in and shows you a photo of just a crater where Antwerp used to be. And then a message comes in. London is next. You have 24 hours. Your country is hostage. London is next on the list. Can you really tell your people, sorry, millions of you are about to be incinerated, but, principles? Hell no. Your government collapses. The British people would riot. They'd have to make a deal.
So the alliance breaks.
It shatters. It just explodes. Britain is out. They have no choice. They sign a truce. In America, we're sitting over here safe for now. Truman might want to keep fighting, but how? Our army is stuck in Europe with no supplies, now surrounded by angry Germans. Our main ally just pieced out. Hitler gets exactly what he always wanted. He splits the alliance, he gets a truce in the West, he gets us to stop bombing his cities. He gets a timeout.
A timeout. But he still got the other front. He still got the Russians, and they are pissed, and they are coming.
Yeah, and this is where it goes from, oh crap, to like the actual end of the world for millions of people. This is the part it's just awful. This is where the alternate history becomes a true horror movie.
What happens?
He gets his time out in the West, right? A ceasefire. So all those German armies, all those planes, all those crack SS Panzer divisions that were fighting us, they all get put on trains. And they all go east. But they don't just go with tanks, they go with the bomb. And the Russians, they have nothing like this. They have no idea. Their own program is years behind.
So he doesn't hit Moscow?
No. Why hit a city? Cities are for politics. He hits their armies. In early 1945, the Red Army was lining up these massive groups of soldiers, like millions of men under generals like Zhukov, getting ready for the final push to Berlin. The Nazis they drop a bomb on them, right on their staging area. They just delete 500,000 soldiers in a flash of light. They hit their supply hubs, they hit their command centers. The Red Army, which was this unstoppable juggernaut, just breaks. It dissolves. It's a total, catastrophic, unbelievable collapse. Stalin has to beg for peace. He has no choice. His entire army is gone.
My God. So Germany wins.
Germany wins. Not like conquers the world wins, not yet, but they win. They get a truce with us. They annihilate the Russians. They are the masters of all of Europe, from the coast of France to the goddamn Ural Mountains. The war is over, and the real nightmare begins.
What do you mean, the real nightmare? That sounds like the nightmare.
That's just the war. The nightmare is what they do next. It's called General Plan Ost. This was their actual plan. This was what they wanted to do after they won. It was a plan drawn up by the SS to kill, deport, or enslave about 30 to 40 million human beings. Slavs, Poles, Russians. Just get rid of them.
Get rid of them?
Like landscaping. Kill them with starvation. They literally had a hunger plan to starve 30 million people to death, work them to death in mines, march them into Siberia, and then build farms, bring in German soldier farmers, Wehrbauern, to settle the land, create this giant, racially pure German empire built on a foundation of mass graves. In real life, they couldn't do it because they were losing the war. In this world, the bomb just gave them the green light. It's the Holocaust times 1,000 with no one left to stop them.
So the whole of Europe becomes this
giant, horrific slave state. A continental-sized North Korea, but run by Nazis. An empire built on a permanent racial war against its own people. It's a society that runs on murder. And it's got nukes.
So what does that world look like 10, 15 years later? Say 1960.
It's a two-player game, right? It's the Greater Germanic Reich, which controls all of Eurasia, and it's the Atlantic Alliance. America, what's left of Britain, which is basically our unsinkable aircraft carrier, Canada, Australia. It's a Cold War, but it's not our Cold War, not even close.
How is it different?
Our Cold War with the Soviets. Look, the Soviets were bastards, but they were rational. They were playing chess. They wanted to survive. We both knew that if we launched the missiles, everyone died. So we didn't. It was called mutually assured destruction. MAD. And it worked, because nobody wanted to be destroyed.
You don't think that applies to Nazis?
Do you? These are the Twilight of the Gods people, the Gotterdammerung. The guys who, at the end in Berlin, were trying to flood their own subways to kill their own citizens because they weren't worthy of surviving. These are guys who believe in, like, magic destiny and racial suicide and glorious death. You can't play a game of nuclear chicken with a dude who has a death wish. This new Cold War, it's not cold, it's on the edge of a volcano every single second of every single day.
So it's unstable.
It's insanely unstable. The Nazis are racing to build ICBMs, their A9, A10 rockets, to hit New York. We're racing to build the H-bomb to blow them up first. There's no détente. There's no cultural exchange. There's no diplomacy. It's just two scorpions in a bottle, and one of them is completely ideologically insane. Every little proxy war, every border skirmish could be the one that ends the world.
And what about the rest of the world? Science, culture.
Oh, it's all crap. It's all just propaganda. In Nazi Europe, there's no real science. It's Deutsche Physics or German physics, which was this real thing where they said Einstein's relativity was Jewish physics and wrong.
Even though the bomb is based on it.
Exactly. It's that stupid. It's science by, political committee. So they probably stagnate scientifically. They're stuck. They can't innovate. All their art is just big, boring, naked statues of Aryan dudes. All their movies are just propaganda. It's a sterile, terrifying, stupid world. Meanwhile, here in America, we're probably not this, freewheeling 1950s rock and roll society. We're a hyper-militarized fortress state, a bastion of democracy that's probably like half police state. McCarthyism would look like a friendly debate. Every part of our lives, all our money, all our science would be focused on one thing, the struggle, because the enemy we're facing is an actual genocidal monster that wants to kill us all. There's no room for error, no room for dissent. It's a grim, paranoid, terrifying planet.
So the conclusion? We just got lucky.
We got so insanely, pants-crappingly lucky. We got lucky that the German program was a disorganized mess. We got lucky their scientists were a bunch of arrogant academics who couldn't get along. We got lucky their boss was a meth head who liked cool-looking rockets more than game-changing physics. We dodged an apocalypse, a real one.
It rewrites everything. The whole moral framework of the 20th century. The Nuremberg trials, the UN, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. All that stuff happens because we beat the Nazis and saw what they did.
None of that exists. In this world, there are no crimes against humanity because the guys who invented them won. There are no human rights because the ruling idea is that your rights depend on your race. The very concept of international law is a joke. It's a world without a conscience. A world where might makes right isn't a cynical saying. It's the law of physics. And it all hinges on that one moment, that one meeting in 1942.
That's one of the most terrifying things we've ever talked about. It's the ultimate what if, and the answer is just darkness. A total, unending darkness.
Yep. It just shows you, man. Technology is one thing. It's a tool. A hammer can build a house, or it can bash someone's brains in. The hammer doesn't care. It's all about who's holding it. That's the only thing that matters. Don't give the ultimate weapon to the crazy guy. It's pretty much the one rule we've got to get right.
Wow. Dr. Brenda Vlasky, everybody. This was insane. I feel like I need to go look at a sunset or something. Thank you.
You bet. Now I really need that drink.
We all do. All right, folks, that's our show. And it leaves you with a hell of a question to chew on. The Nazis were racing for a physical weapon, a bomb. But what if the wonder weapons of tomorrow aren't bombs at all? What if they're biological? What if they're digital, like an AI that can crash the whole world? Or rewrite what we think is real? What's the equivalent of that 1942 meeting? And who's in the room right now? See you next time.